There will be spoilers ahead. Lots of spoilers, so be careful, won't you?
Listen up, me china plate. Looks like we got us a film what if you don't watch it, you might end up a bit brown bread, right? Bet all your bees nunny that this here's Max Mike Movies, and this week we're gonna cop a flower pot with Guy Ritchie's flicker, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. This ain't no film for dustbin lids, is it? Nor is it a bit of gay and arty. What it is, see, is the next part of our series. I can't believe you haven't seen that. 3, the Rebelievening. Me and Max are here for a bit of a bubble bath, and we want you all to come along. Speaking of Max, he's the one swimming in pimple and blotch. Max, Mike, please stop for the love of all that's holy, Levine. Make us a box of toys, Max.
Liverpool, Liverpool, oi, oi, oi!
And who am I? Well, just Mike. Give us a slice of give and take, loose. And before I get it, I will need to bring this little romp to an end. Little Cockney romp. And just so you know, all of that's real. Do I know what it all means?
Yeah.
No!
I could make out most of what you said.
And in case you missed it, Guy Ritchie's film is the latest one I can't believe Max hadn't seen. I'll tell you a little secret. I hadn't seen it either. But what we have seen is your responses to our poll question. Last week's query was, what is the most overused specific location in films? Well, seems you had opinions, so let's get to them. On Facebook, Dave. He's never commented on us doing that, but whatever. Dave was up first. Quote, far too many American movies take place in New York or L.A. It is a big world out there, and the technology is such that we can film almost anywhere. I wish we would do more of that. But specific location, I don't know. I always enjoy it when Occidental College campus is used and is recognizable, or when the buildings that my old law firm, Howry, was in show up. Beyond that, what comes to mind is the beautiful Berkeley campus in The Graduate that wasn't filmed in Berkeley at all. Not overused, just weird. I would love to see more of Harvard Square in movies, but no way to get permission to film, I suppose, end quote. Well, it's more like no one wants to pay the huge Boston prices for it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Dave.
Nice one.
Yeah. Next, Brian Mundo. Quote, for a setting, New York for sure. Even if it is a futuristic 23rd century New York Fifth Element. but it does always
Of course he works that in.
But it does always seem like monsters attack, aliens land, or supervillain chaos happens way too often in the Big Apple, end quote. That does seem to be the case, even when it's not really New York. Thanks, Brian. Dr. Rebecca Pelkey said, quote, way too many Westerns seem to have the red towers of Monument Valley as a backdrop, end quote. Oh, she is so right. Thanks, Becca.
Well, that's where the West is.
I've actually been there, and it is amazingly awe-inspiring. It is also the quietest place I have ever been, but...
Well, there you go. They don't want background noise when they film.
There isn't any. Like, you literally can't hear a car coming until it's on top of you. So, yeah.
Great.
Next up at bat, Tyler Stewart. Tyler Stewart. Quote, honorable mention goes to Quarries for Doctor Who. Actual line from the show, Doctor, why is Earth... I'm sorry, it's British. Doctor, why is Earth always being invaded? Well, most other planets look like quarries. Oh, that's not the last time that quarries will come up, because Dave snuck back in to add to Tyler's statement with, quote, oh, I totally forgot about the Toei gravel pit, end quote.
Yep.
And if you know...
every fight scene or any Sentai show, every fight scene is in a friggin' gravel pit or quarry. Yep.
It is one of my favorite aspects of those superhero or tokusatsu shows, where the fight will start in downtown Tokyo somewhere, somebody will leap into the sky and land at the gravel pit.
Yep.
Thanks, Tyler and Dave. Christine Santos wrote, quote, any major American city, LOL, or Magical Green Hills is really New Zealand, but it's America Land or Europe, end quote. Oh, there's a
America
lot of...
Land.
There is a lot of substitution out there. Thanks, Christine. Charles Forsyth cut right to the meat of the matter with, quote, Vasquez rocks, end quote. Ooh, that is a good one. And it won't be the last time we hear about that. Thanks, Charles. Also on Facebook was Degsy O'Brien, and now Max will make some sort of crime-solving or gardening comment, or... Go ahead.
No, that's just what that interfering landscape painter would like me to do.
I forgot landscape painting. Well. So, as to what Degsy said, he said, quote, London, specifically that spot that doesn't actually exist, where you'll see Big Ben, a British policeman, a Buckingham Palace guard with the bear merkin on his head, a pigeon, a man in a bowler hat, all in one place. And if it's set in Victorian London, throw in a soot-cheeked urchin. The rest of the United...
Wait. No, I know that place. That's Old Blighty Street.
The rest of the United Kingdom would like the world to know that not only does London not represent the whole of the country, but that it's an overpriced, congested, stuck-up hive of scum and villainy too, end quote.
Moss Isley, England.
I don't think that Degsy likes London, but
gosh.
Thanks, Degsy, and keep up the good work. Yeah. Last time I was in London and I was at the Houses of Parliament, I happened to witness the funeral procession for an elephant go by. I kid you not, it was in a coffin and everything.
So one big ass coffin.
It was, and the only reason I knew what it was is because there was a photo on the side of what was in it, which is, this is an elephant. It's like, wow, okay. But anyway.
Jeez.
Over on Bluesky, well, it's our new pal Bill O'Laden with...
Hey, Mike O'Malley.
With, quote, The Oval Office. Every film with an American president insists that meetings take place in the Oval. Be it
all of them.
All of them. Be the conflict about POTUS fight... POTUS.
It is.
I know, but POTUS.
President of the United States.
Yeah. Be the conflict about POTUS fighting with his girlfriend, the American president. Mutants, X-Men 2. Russians, North Koreans, Earth-destroying aliens, Independence Day. Hijackers, Air Force One. Assassins, Olympus Has Fallen. Despots, Civil War. Or Republicans. I list in the order of my hatred of them from least to most. You always see the president at the resolute desk with advisors, military types, and film's plucky protagonists swarming around shouting, Mr. President, we have confirmation of, or put her to DEFCON 5, or where's the football? I don't remember that one, but, and so on. I get it.
Some more jelly beans.
I get it. It makes for an immediately recognizable shot, iconic and indicating the gravity of the situation. But in truth, the Oval Office is the size of a large conference room, is largely ceremonial in function, and just cannot hold that many people. Such meetings are actually held in the White House Situation Room, in the White House Cellar, or the Cabinet Room or Roosevelt Room, both much larger. By the way, the Situation Room is also just an unphotogenic drab conference room. I should know. I've been in it.
Wow.
I know. I didn't know they let Irish people, and I'm just kidding. I'm Irish. I can say that because I'm gay. Oops.
What?
I get why it's frequently depicted, but the Oval Office is just overused. Do you think the studios keep one on hand without breaking down the set in between films, or have they actually created and broken down 50-plus Oval Office sets over the years, end quote? Well, I hate to think, Bill, but that resolute desk, there's clues in it for a fabulous lost treasure. Thanks, Mr. O'Lady.
Thank you, Nick Cage.
Yeah. Okay. On our website, good old Vince, master of the white stuff, that's snow, you naughty children, naughty, has sent us via Penguingram his answer. Quote, does planet Earth count? I mean, mostly...
That's a little broad.
Well, he goes on to say...
Where else are we going to film?
I mean, mostly in sci-fi movies, obviously, but Earth is always a place aliens need to conquer to get water from. Why? There's tons of it in space on asteroids. Well, we don't actually
I always wondered about that.
Need our women learn morality from... Seriously? Etc., etc. The idea is people won't relate to things without an Earth-centric plot, but the entirety of Star Wars avoids Earth completely and did pretty well over the years. Too broad? Okay, well, I guess abandoned warehouse and parking garages might be a little bit overused as well, end quote. Wow, well, Earth just about covers it, but I got to agree with the warehouse and parking garages.
No, but he does have a point. It's like everybody shows up here.
Yeah.
Like, what is this love? What is this thing called, love?
Well, and if you look at our location in the galaxy, I mean, we're really out in the sticks. We're in the way out in one of the, I think it's the Western Spiral Arm, as Douglas Adams called it. Although I don't know how West works in space, but whatever.
It's like due up.
Yeah, due up. 13 whatever degrees due up. All right, looks like that light is blinking again. Max, were you on another mystery date? Are you ready for a mystery date? Don't be late. Might be great.
Stop doing that.
I think it's Doris. Well, listen to our hotline.
It's very hot.
Hi, Max Mike Movies. Hello, Max. This is Doris Hempelmeyer here to answer your poll question about what movie backdrops or whatever you don't like anymore. And I got 3 for you. The first one is this place called Vasquez Rocks. I'm sorry, I cannot believe that every alien planet in the universe looks like Vasquez Rocks. They must look like something else too, right? But always Vasquez Rocks. I don't understand. The next one, backlots. Studio backlots. I mean, come on, guys. We got all this whole world to look at. We always know when it's a backlot. Sometimes it takes me out of a movie. Max and I were just talking about that the other day. And we, no more. And the last one, apartments in New York for somebody who's working minimum wage, who has this fantastic apartment. Nobody has that in real life. Those are millions of dollars. Stop it. Those are my answers. I look forward to hearing to you next week. I guess I listened to you. I'm sorry. I'm all excited. I saw Max again this week. Bye, Max.
Well, I'm only annoyed because she took my answers. Otherwise, thank you, Doris. And Max, do you have a little message?
She took my heart.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, just calm down at least long enough to tell us your answer to the poll
My
question.
little Apfelstrudel.
Zum Toasten? What is your answer to your burning question, your itching question?
Itching, flaking, burn. Yeah. Well, I've made a preparation for that. It's a preparation H. Now,
What happened to the first 7? Why an 8, huh?
Yep.
Now in special cream. Plan 9, now in a suppository. Anyway, Max.
Somebody stop us. Yes. For me, honestly, it's hospital operating rooms.
Really?
I am so tired of... I don't like the idea that these surgeons who have their hands in someone's brain or vascular system or pulling out bullets are talking about, so, you won't leave your wife for me? No, I can't. I don't want you talking about that. I want you paying attention.
It's like when people are driving. I hate movies where people are driving and they're having a conversation. It's like, there's going to be an accident. I know. Will you please look at the road?
I don't mind the conversation so much. It's just when they insist on eye contact and the driver turns to the right to look at the passenger for like a full minute. I'm going, how many people have you murdered?
Unless they're British.
What about you? What's your most overused location?
Well, Doris stole both of them. I mean, one of them is Vasquez Rocks. As much as I love Vasquez Rocks and I've been there and it's really cool, dear gods, does it show up in a lot of things.
Well, according to that, it's like crawling with what? Gorn?
Yeah, well, that too.
There's gorn everywhere.
But as far as backlots goes, there's one specific backlot, and that is Hill Valley, or whatever they call that Universal Studios center town square, especially when it showed up in that Streets of Fire that we did a few episodes back, and I'm like, I can't take Chicago seriously. I know it's in Southern California. So, and it's like, and it shows up in the Twilight Zone a lot, too. Like, I've been just rewatching some old Twilight Zone, and it's like, oh, yeah, been here, done that. And so it's like, and it's burned down twice, and they keep rebuilding it, and it's like, make something else, would you guys? Because we know what it is. And any 70s Sunday Mystery Night movie takes place in that back lot, and it just becomes so obvious. But yeah, but we love all your answers, so thank you for them, and thanks in advance for those you might give us for this week's poll. And that is, what is your favorite heist film? Let us know what and why, and we will quote you on the show and fill your socks with Bumpy Bucks, the cryptocurrency that smells like dairy fresh cheese. But for now, we better get back to this week's movie, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
The facts.
Budget. Dear gods, this can't be real. $1.4 million. Seriously?
What?
This may be the biggest bargain we've ever had on this show.
Good Lord. How much did it make?
$28 million. Wow.
I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot until you realize that's almost 20 times its budget.
Yeah. So,
man.
Pretty amazing. Well done, Guy. That's Ritchie, by the way. He's the director. You may have noticed a little dedication at the end of the movie to Lenny McLean. He plays Benny the Baptist in the film and sadly died of lung cancer a month before the movie premiered.
Oh.
Yeah, speaking of Lenny, hard to believe. Before this, Lenny had been a bare-knuckle boxer. I am not surprised.
Please, wait, I need to lie down from the shock.
When we see Nick the Greek break the glass tabletop by setting down his drink, that was not scripted. Guy Ritchie liked it, kept it in, and added the other scene of the tumbler passing through the empty space later. Big Chris, played by Vinnie Jones, is... Well, life imitates art. Seems his first day of filming came right after his last day in jail for beating up a neighbor. Yikes. Yeah, Vinnie Jones used to be a soccer player. But yeah. Oddly, this film couldn't find a distributor. Someone called someone who knew Tom Cruise, who attended a screening. Apparently, there were some executives in the audience who suddenly became more interested when Mr. Cruise said, quote, "This is the best movie I've seen in years. You guys would be fools not to buy it," end quote. And who?
Yes, Mr. Cruise. Whatever you say, Mr. Cruise. Right away, Mr. Cruise.
Can I lick your shoes? And who is this friend of a friend? Trudy Styler, otherwise known as Mrs. Sting.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
This was Jason Statham's first film. He was one of 17 folks in this for whom this was their first acting job.
I believe it. But he's a baby.
Well, we'll come back to this, but I actually was pretty surprised by that. And what was the reason for that film having that odd yellow tint? Ritchie wanted to give it an old feeling. Okay.
Filmed in urine vision.
Oh, yuck. Although that smell probably was prevalent in some of the locations that they filmed. But yeah. Weirdly, Madonna, of all people, really liked the soundtrack and wanted her label, she had a label, Maverick, to release it. So she wined and dined Ritchie and Matthew Vaughn, but according to Ritchie, it was Vaughn she was interested in. Well, we know how that turned out.
Didn't she end up marrying Guy Ritchie for about 10 minutes?
Yes, she did. F-bomb count, 125. Nah, what a lightweight. It was one film I think we saw there was something like 400. I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Yeah.
And likely...
It's like nothing for any Kevin Smith movie.
No, not at all. And likely so much more. Max, have you got any for us here? Anything at all?
No, not really, except there is a plethora of English actors in there where you go, oh, that guy, I saw him in that thing.
Yeah.
Especially Vinnie Jones. Like, oh yeah, he played the badass tough guy in something.
Many things.
Actually, in everything.
Yeah. Well, if you like British mystery shows especially, all of these actors have, except for Jason Statham, have at one time shown up in a British mystery of some sort. There's just not enough actors in Britain to get killed every week. You have to just keep reusing them. So, yeah. But other than that, I guess it's time to get to the plot.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Four lads, Tom, Soap, Eddie, and Bacon, decide that the best way to make some quick cash is to gather together 100,000 quid and enter a high-end poker game with the local notorious geezer, Hatchet Harry. What could go wrong? Well, everything. Eddie's an ace card player, but Harry cheats, and soon Eddie finds that not only did he not win, but he's into Harry for $500K. Yikes. Where is he going to come up with the money? Meanwhile, Harry has noticed two antique shotguns coming up for auction, and they're going for $250 to $300K for the pair. Well, he doesn't want to pay that much, does he? So he tells a subordinate to get someone to steal them for him. Sadly, those two are inept, and they bring back the wrong guns, having sold the antique pair to another lad who happens to be a friend of Tom's or Eddie's or someone in that gang. Meanwhile, there's a local ganja outfit that's been growing and selling huge amounts of high-grade weed, and another team of baddies has found out about it and decides it's going to be right easy to nick the whole lot. As it turns out, this gang works right next door to our lads, and they just happen to overhear the heist being planned. Will all these varied plot lines somehow come together? What do antique guns have to do with high-grade skunk? And is Harry the Hatchet really all that bad? Listen in and find out. Sorry, listen in and find out.
The film.
All right, I know it's in the theme song, but this film is not that old, 20 some odd years. So just want to remind you with our little klaxon that there's going to be major spoilers.
Oi!
Spoiler. 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 Spoiler.
So, Max, you hadn't seen this.
I have never seen this. I've heard about it for years. I've seen other Guy Ritchie movies.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about this one. I just never got around to seeing it.
I actually thought I had seen it, but I had not seen it. So I think I just, said, oh, yeah, I've seen that. No, I have not. I have seen Layer Cake and Snatch. I know I've seen those in the theater. And I remember liking them, but I don't know that I've rewatched them.
I liked, his version of Sherlock Holmes. That was fun.
I forgot that was Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
I really liked those. Those were fun.
Yeah.
I mean, not really traditional Sherlock Holmes.
Not so much. I mean, Sherlock Holmes as action hero. It's a little weird.
Well, never mind a non-Brit playing the main role. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed those. They were fun. So,
I wasn't as crazy about his remake of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Or
did he do that? Because I thought that was adequate but utterly unmemorable.
That's the thing. It wasn't bad. It was just like, well, that happened.
Yeah. Well, and it has two problematic actors in it. It has Armie Hammer and, Superman, who's not Superman
Henry
anymore.
Cavill.
Right, The Witcher. The Witcher! And, and it's like, I rewatched it not that long ago, and it's like, yeah, it's perfectly adequate. It's just not interesting, strangely. But is this film interesting? We don't know, because that's the end of the show. Right now, we usually like to talk about the actors, most of whom aren't until this film. But let's go ahead and start. We have Jason Fleming, whom I believe is Admiral Hux, isn't he?
I think he is.
As Tom.
Yep. And he shows up in, he's one of the Buttons in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. He's also, I'm not sure how much this is a recommendation, he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, that's right. A film that I liked but was told I shouldn't because it's so not like the comic book. But I don't know.
I don't know about the comic book. The movies,
I enjoy it the same way I enjoy Van Helsing. I shouldn't enjoy it, but I still do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine. I like Jason Fleming. He's fine. Dexter Fletcher is Soap.
Well, he doesn't do very much.
Well, except till we get to the point where it seems like he has this fixation on knives, and then suddenly his character gets a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
But he's fine. I liked him as well.
Yeah. He was the director of the Elton John film Rocket Man.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. Otherwise, I don't know anything about him.
Me either. Well, most of the actors in here I don't know anything about. But that's fine. I really liked Rocket Man, actually. I thought it was a lot of fun. Nick Moran is Eddie. Again, I liked him as Eddie. He was fine. He did what he needed to do. I liked the fact that he was very good at what he did, and then when he lost and realized what he had done, he spends the next 3 or 4 minutes puking.
Which is a very reasonable... I like his whole reaction. The fact that he's just like in this daze. It's like, oh my God, I not only lost, but I owe the most dangerous gangster around $500,000. Like, oh.
Yeah. Well, and there's some, and we'll come back to this, but there's some really cool camera work at that point that really gives you the idea of how off center he's been knocked.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he does a good job. Jason Statham, Lords love him. This is one of his better choices for scripts. I really like Jason Statham, but dear gods, that man can't choose a movie to save his life.
He does pick a lot of bad ones, although he picks a lot of very successful ones. I mean, the Fast and the Furious series, I'm sure he's made a mint off of that. The Beekeeper? The Transporter?
I think he's in The Italian Job, too.
He is. He's handsome. What's his name?
Handsome Rob.
Handsome Rob.
I always think of him as Handsome Rob. Let's face it. Jason Statham does not have a wide range. That being said, he's a perfectly good and sometimes excellent British action star. And I really like his...
I was impressed in the beginning where he's doing the huckster stuff and he's selling what I assume is stolen jewelry.
No, it's not stolen. It just hasn't been paid for yet.
Yes, that's right. His delivery is really good. It's very snappy, very peppy, and very. You buy him as a huckster.
Yeah, he's sort of a stand-up, but I think it's more because we know who he is. Because the four guys, those four, I can't call them a gang, I guess, but
blokes.
Those four guys,
There's four blokes.
Those four blokes have about as much screen time as each other, and then there's all these other characters to deal with, some of which we're going to skip over because
we get nothing in depth on any of them. We'll get back to that.
Steve McIntosh is Winston. Sure,
he's fine.
Yeah, he plays a pothead, which is Nicholas Rowe. I only know from an episode of Midsummer Murders. I told you they're all in mystery shows.
Yeah, I have no
He's
idea.
fine. There's a couple of people I'm going to skip over just because they don't even
do
have
anything.
photos.
Yeah.
Vinnie Jones. I utterly believe Vinnie Jones could wrap my intestines around my throat from there.
Vinnie Jones is one of those guys like Danny Trejo, who you just go,
Yeah.
he's not pretending to be a badass.
No.
He's terrifying.
Yeah.
And I like him.
And
He's Big Chris, and he goes around with his son, Little Chris.
Yeah, played by Peter McNichol. No, not that Peter
Not that
McNichol.
one. No, I thought, oh, wow, is that? Wait, no. He was already in had been in Dragon Slayer by this point.
Yeah,
It's another
no.
Peter McNichol.
I will say, as far as kids in films go, they actually keep him fairly toned down so he doesn't
Yeah.
become obnoxious, so that's fine.
He's not a sprinkle.
And of course, poor Lenny McLean, who died, Barry the Baptist. Oh
Very
my God.
menacing.
He's perfect as the lieutenant to Harry the Hatchet. He's just like, I love the way he talks. I love he would have made a perfect Kingpin except for his accent, because you believe he too has busted many, many knees in his life.
I mean, he's called Barry the Baptist because he drowns people or half drowns them he wants his money, splash.
Yeah, apparently the guy who was drowning was the cinematographer.
Oh, wow.
You better get me good side.
Yeah, okay. P.H. Moriarty. Wow.
Yikes.
He is also scary. I don't know if it's prosthetic or not, but at one point you see that he's missing a finger. Mm-hmm. And one of his eyes, the way the light catches it, is messed up.
It has like a cast in it or a scar on the retina.
I don't know what it is. It looks like it's glass, but not fake. I don't know.
It's eerie.
But he is wonderful as Hatchet Harry. I believe totally that he too has sent many people to the bottom of the Thames.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frank Harper as Dog is fine. He's a thug. He does a good job.
He's also
Steve
good and
Sweeney
menacing.
as Plank is also fine.
I was very disappointed that it was not the stand-up comic Steve Sweeney.
It's very much not him. And then people. The last one is Nick the Greek, played by Stephen Marcus. I love the fact that he's the one of these people in this film that actually shows fear. Like, he's the only one who actually must know what crap they have gotten themselves into and how deep it is. And I also love the fact that when we see him first buying a stolen stereo from one of the lads, Tom, I think it is, and Tom is like, oh yeah, you don't get anything with it, it's just the turntable. Here, I'll give you this crappy red plastic phone, which he turns out he actually takes, although it was meant as a joke, and he uses it because he's so cheap. So yeah, I don't think there's a bad performance in the lot.
I do also want to
forgot
mention
somebody.
Well, there's two. I wanted to mention Vaz Blackwood as Rory Breaker, who is supposed to be the
really interesting,
really strange character. He looks, as they say, you get beyond the cute and cuddly look, and he's an absolute psychopath.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do much, but he is very menacing. And
very
then, of course,
believable.
there's some unknown guy who plays, I think it's Eddie's father, JD, played by, what is his name? Stingy or String?
Yeah. I must admit, I didn't know he was in this.
I
and
didn't
then his
either.
face pops up, and it's like, what's Sting doing in this?
My first thought was, oh my God, that guy looks just like Sting.
I gotta say, in general, I'm not a fan of Sting in films because he's generally not very good. But I gotta say, he has a really nice little edge of menace in this film.
Yeah.
And you get the idea that, he's got his bar and he's not part of this world, but he might have been at one point.
Yeah, at some point you get the feeling he really was.
Yeah. So, hats off to Sting, who usually I don't think comes off as very acty, but in this film I think he does just fine.
Well, he also only has about 4 lines.
That may be said, but he only had about 4 lines in Dune. And,
Well, that's true.
I mean, they're not going to be looking at your chest. That's a deeper.
Mom!
So yeah, I think especially for apparently 17 first comers, they do a remarkably good job in the acting department. So yeah. One of the things that makes itself known very early, and I think this is sort of a, pardon the use of this word, theme with Guy Ritchie, is the music. And the soundtrack to this movie is awesome.
Oh, God, it's so good. Oh, my God. It's like, it's got everything.
It's got everything from James Brown to covers of songs. There's a spooky little girl, but it's a woman singing it for It's a Spooky Little Boy.
Yep, you got Truly, Madly, Deeply. You got Liar, Liar. I Want to Be Your Dog by the Stooges are in this.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, I don't know, I can't remember. I don't think this is Guy Ritchie's first film, but
I don't think so.
From here on in, music will play a big part in his films for the most part.
The soundtrack is like a character for a lot of his movies.
It is. He wields it really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
One of my first notes was, well, it seems like we're back to dealing with proper villains now, doesn't it? Because, mostly they're all Cockneys. They have a couple of Londoners thrown in there. But
by the way, as a director, this is actually his first full-length movie.
Is it?
Yeah. Before that, he did some short called The Hard Case.
Well, that would explain all of the, flubs and screw-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to those, but yeah. This is one of those films, though. I don't know if you have problems with films like this, but there really aren't any, how to put this, heartwarming, upstanding characters.
Yeah, there is. It's very hard to like anyone in this movie, and I do have trouble with movies like that. I respect them. I understand some of them can be really good, but they usually don't draw me in as much. And I don't like anybody in this movie. Everyone in this, I mean, there's some that are kind of interesting or even a little charming, but we don't really get to know anybody enough to really like them.
I found them all oddly charismatic in spite of that. Like, even Hatchet Harry, I was interested in what he had to say. I didn't really want to hear it, but, and Barry the Baptist, it's like, it's almost more a film of archetypes than it is of actual characters.
Yeah.
But there's enough spice sprinkled on them that it works out, and I didn't really have a problem with that. Sometimes I do, like, especially if it's some sort of disaster film. Say our entire series on disaster porn. But I found, well, there's something else that Guy Ritchie does that helped me get through that, and that is he keeps most of the worst violence off screen.
A lot of it's implied, or you see the aftermath.
Yeah,
that is true.
And I applaud him for that because I was actually worried watching this film because I really not only don't like really in-your-face violence, I'm looking at you, Tarantino, but I don't really need a lot of gore and stuff. And this film is mostly a big threat that it either will or does follow through on. We don't have to see the final results.
I do also want to point out, what did you think of all the women in this movie? I mean, I got to say,
all the women.
There is one, and she has no lines. It's Gloria, and mostly her line is, that's it. She's basically in a stupor most of it. Although she does get one great moment with the Bren gun.
Yeah, we've said this before. This is, a bloke's film, and mostly a white bloke's film, which whatever. And of course, well, I was going to say the only black people in it are bad guys, but so are all the white guys. So I guess it kind of evens out.
In this. I mean, yeah.
But would I have wanted more female characters in this? I don't know that I would have. That's a tough call. I think, who could walk into this film and be totally fine and get her way and walk out unscathed? Emily Blunt. She could walk in and own this film.
Yeah, she could actually just fit. She would fit right in. No one would go, oh, it's a bird. It's like, sorry, Emmy, what should we do?
So, but I wouldn't want it to be a thing, like you just said. No. I wouldn't want it to like, oh, she's tough for a woman. Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
But there are actors out there, Grace Jones and her, she could have walked right into this, and it's like, oh, she's got a stick, run!
I don't know. I could see her and Big Chris hitting it off.
Yeah. Somebody like that would have worked fine. Yeah. And like you said, if they didn't do anything about, she's a woman.
They didn't make a thing out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fine. But I didn't need like somebody's housewife or anything like that. Like Little Chris's mom. I didn't need to see her.
No. I mean, technically there is one other woman. Tanya, the dealer.
And I liked her a lot. She was great, especially when she's like, I'm not standing for any cheating, which she doesn't know is going on.
Right.
I liked her. She was very small part, but I believed her totally. Mm-hmm. So I think I read in the trivia, I didn't put it in, that she hadn't worked in 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And there is one bit of violence that, I don't know about you, but I'm like, I don't know if that fits. And it's during the heist of the guns.
Mm-hmm.
When one of the lads gets shot at,
Yeah.
And then we cut to him, and he's got a big smoking hole in his hair.
That was I got to admit, that was kind of cartoony and didn't really fit the rest of the movie.
I had the same note.
Yeah.
It's like I waited for whop, whop.
Yeah. It was too much Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Because it's like, that's not what would have happened. He probably would have gotten at least a pedal or two in his face.
Yeah, I mean, that was a shotgun he was shot at. Those are not precision instruments.
No. And it was like actually like a carved hole. Like it was, somebody went in there and quaffed out a hole where the shot
I get that it's sort of supposed to be a callback to the, I just spent 220 quid on me.
Yeah, which you should ask for a refund.
You got robbed, buddy.
Yeah.
He looks like a bloody Muppet, he does. And I know that means something different with the English. Yeah, those guys, what, Ken and Bob and Doug, whatever, their names don't matter.
Bob and Doug.
Wingus and Dingus there.
That's actually more fitting.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like them. They really are like, okay, this is what Tom and his people could be like if you lowered their IQ by about 30 points.
Yeah.
The absolute, like, hi, we're dumb thugs. And they just do everything wrong. And I also like the little throw-ins. It's a little bit of English, I don't know what you call it, bigotry. It's not racism. But
right.
Because they're Northerners. And, you know, everyone, this is London, they're all Southerners. And the people in Southern England don't like, they all think the people in Northern England are bumpkins and idiots. Yeah. Calling someone a Northern is calling them stupid, like a hayseed.
And if you're in London or a Southerner, you're a fairy. So there you go.
That's right.
So I'm even more interested now that I know that this is his first full-length film, because he also wrote the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he has some really interesting ways of using the camera. He gets very experimental at points, but for my money, it's never to the point that I think it alienates the audience. What did you think of the camera work and the there's little segments of the film that things are shot very differently than other segments.
Sometimes suddenly into slow motion, sometimes the color changes. I think it works. I think it really gives the whole idea of the sense of barely restrained chaos that is the story. The fact that everything is just fragmented and broken, that nothing stays the same, that like everyone has a different perception. I think it works. It didn't take me out of it at all.
Well, and I put in most of the major plot points of the film in my recap. That was a tough one because I'm like, I either have to make it 3 pages long or I have to leave most of everything out. And there really was no way to do it with,
No, you can't include everything.
I don't know about you, but I sat there going, I cannot figure out how all these things are going to come together. They have to, or the film's going to fall. And maybe it did. We didn't say. And there's this level of tension, some of which I didn't care for, but it never for me went over the line like, I'm going to get up and walk away until this scene's finished. It's always like, they owe $500,000 quid. Where are they get? Oh, they're listening to these guys. Oh, so our guys who are like, okay, robbing the back of a truck and selling in an alley are now going to take on these guys with guns? Yeah, that's not going to go badly. That's going to work out. Oh, these guys who have to get the guns back don't know that they're being used by these guys and blah, 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 blah.
Oh, the whole thing, Charles Dickens would be sitting there going, oh, come on! The sheer level of coincidence going on in this is kind of staggering, but it all kinds of falls together. And I actually did start to see, it's like, oh no, they're going to think it's these guys. Or, you know, and it turns out, oh, we stole the weed and they're trying to sell it to the guy they stole it from, but they don't know that.
Yeah. And then the guns, I'm like, okay, are the guns going to be the thing that pays off the debt somehow? And well, I won't spoil the actual ending, but I will say for me, the movie did not end the way I was expecting it to end.
No, me neither.
And that may or may not be a good thing because we're not going to talk about that. But yeah. So there's some humor in this film. Some of it is, how to put this, really, really dark.
Yeah.
There's a scene where Harry the Hatchet beats a guy to death with a dildo.
With a huge black dildo.
Or a bigger, blacker dick, if you will.
If you will.
Another deeper.
Yep. That's one of his That's one of the legends of Harry the Hatchet. That I heard he beat a guy to death with that. And yeah.
And it is funny, but it's very, very dark.
It's disturbing.
Do you think that the humor went too dark?
I don't know. The whole movie is dark, so I think the humor just fits the overall tone. I would have found it more jarring if the humor was like light and fluffy and trying to break the tension, where really it just heightens it.
I think if it had been light and fluffy, I think it would have stood, like that one scene with the guy's hair burning with the hole in it. I think we would find it jarring and would stand out and wouldn't work. So it might just be that if you're not a fan of darker humor and this kind of, everybody's a bad guy type film, it just may not be for you. But, that's probably where I'd go. I do have a question for you, though.
Yeah?
What was Harry the Hatchet doing with a dildo?
That's his job. He sells, he's called,
That's right.
He has a brass plate outside his office, says, Harry, whatever his name was, Porn King. He sells sex toys. I mean, at the beginning, he's showing Barry the Baptist this spanking paddle. I mean, these just came in. These are good, aren't they? What's it for?
Spanking. I just want to know why he has it in his office. Like,
obviously he's trying it out. I don't know. He's
Quality
examining
assurance?
quality control. He takes pride in his merchandise.
According to the instructions, step 1, insert.
Insert?
I don't know. It was just a weird sort of thing in there.
It fit, because they talk about that. He's a porn king.
Hey, here's another question. Does that count as full frontal male nudity?
No, because it wasn't attached.
Does that matter?
It does to me.
This is a serious question for things like the MPAA.
Oh.
Would that count if you see a penis but nothing else?
Well, first off, that was not a penis. It was a dildo.
No.
It was an artificial one. And it's the same way.
You know how they are, though.
Yeah, I think that otherwise this movie would not have had an R rating, because full male nudity, frontal male nudity, is an automatic X.
Which we talked about
makes
this with
no sense at
Quadrophenia.
all.
I don't think actually Quadrophenia got the X. I don't think it did. Which is odd, because not only is there full frontal, there's 2 of it, and it just hovers there on the screen for like 30 seconds. And okay.
I don't know how that. Well, it may have also been different with British films, but I don't know.
Maybe they don't mind a little bit of the bubble-and-squeak. That's not the...
A bit of the spotted dick. Oh, wait, no!
Oh, actually, it could be, although it doesn't rhyme. Anyway, what did you think about the pacing?
The pacing is a little odd. Most of the time, it just moves along at this very frenetic pace, and sometimes it really slows down. And there are some scenes that, like, when they're drinking and celebrating in the bar afterwards, that scene seemed to go on way too long.
You mean where Eddie speaks too soon? Yeah,
yes.
That one.
Yeah. Otherwise, like the poker game, it is really hard to make watching a poker game interesting, because it's like, I'm holding cards. I too am holding cards. I will move this piece of plastic. I too will move a piece of plastic. That's. But the way the slow motion where they're tossing the chips and where the perspective is suddenly from the table and it just moves around a lot, right close-ups to the faces, it made it interesting to watch. And part of that was the pacing. And I think the pacing was very well done. What about you?
Same here. I thought it was well paced, and I thought things were interesting. This is another film that is generally, I want to say that this has a tiny little bit of fat here and there, but it's generally very lean. You said earlier about us not having any real understanding of the characters in this film. I don't think we need it. I don't think that would have really added anything. It's we have to find out that, poor little Chris's mom died in childbirth. Who cares? It does not matter. Wouldn't add anything. So, and it's an hour 45, so it's not long, but it kept my interest. Just those points where the tension was almost like, oh, come on, don't do this. Didn't last long, and they didn't go as far as they could have to really kind of piss me off. So I think, especially again for a first timer, I think it's pretty well paced, even with Sting in it. There's certain things that are kind of telegraphed. We know from the beginning nothing is going to go the way it's supposed to, especially with our 4 blokes.
Yeah, you can just tell everything about them says, whatever bad decision can be made, they will make it.
Well, they start off with the dumbest decision in all. It's like, hey, there's this local crime lord that has a poker game we could win a lot of money at.
It's like, really? And you think it's going to be an honest game? Really?
And of course, he pulls a gold finger, but yeah. And then, there's other things they do. It's like, oh, we hear the guys next door. Let's go ahead and take them on because that makes sense. And yeah, I just
like these guys are hardened professional criminals, and these four blokes are, just idiots. Or not necessarily idiots, but they're not geezers. They're not hard boys.
Yeah,
they're just,
and you get the impression they're never gonna be either.
No, you just figure these guys are always going to be, oh, if only we'd got a break. It's like, no, if a break fell on top of you, you wouldn't know what to do with it.
Be broken?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a number of different plot lines. I don't know if you did this, but it's sort of like a whodunit film that you don't know the answer to. Mm-hmm. I saw a lot of ways that they could get out of what they were doing, and so I kept in my head figuring out where the plot could go to save them. Did you do that at all?
No, not at all. That's interesting.
Oh, I was like, if they just do this, might be able to get out of it. None of my guesses were right. Which, to be fair, is pretty much part and parcel for me. Because, if it's a whodunit, I never guess who did it. Never. I'm very bad at it.
Yeah, I don't do well with that.
I do appreciate when films make me think, though, or have me guess about stuff. Do you have any quotes that you liked from this film?
Mostly, oh no, not again.
I think my favorite... Oh, go ahead.
No, there are a bunch. I mean, I liked almost anything that Bacon would say. I still don't know why the hell he's called Bacon. It's like, I'm less worried about this job and more worried about your past, Soap.
I think my favorite quote is from Big Chris. It's at the end of the film when he just says, "It's been emotional." Which is probably the most emotion besides anger that Big Chris ever shows.
Mm-hmm. Except to his son. I always like that. Hey, seatbelt.
Well, he obviously cares a lot about his son, although he's obviously also going to drag him into a life of crime. But whatever.
Yeah. Takes him along with him on very dangerous missions. But
I didn't read up much on the guy who plays Big Chris, Vinnie Jones. He was a footballer, apparently, quite a lively lad, and as pointed out, was arrested for beating up his neighbor. I kind of wonder if acting hadn't come along, what he might have ended up doing.
Yeah, a hard time, I'm thinking.
Is this film an illustration of that? However, we do have something that pops up every now and then, which some people don't care for, and that is what is generally referred to as an ambiguous ending.
Oh boy,
what do you think about the ending, Max?
I thought it was mean. I was so annoyed, like, oh, you bastard, Guy Ritchie.
So, for those who haven't seen the film and don't mind a spoiler, the guns in question have been put back in the hands of our four blokes who initially are like, look, this is the only thing that ties us to all of these horrible crimes, including multiple murders and stuff. We really need to just toss them away and get rid of them, even though they paid 700 quid for them, which they don't know what they're worth.
Yeah.
When Big Chris comes back in saying, here's your bag, I took what I needed for me and my son, and leaves...
Which was all the cash.
What they don't realize is the only thing in the bag is the Butherby's
Sotheby's, over in King's Bulledge, Bainbridge.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The Sotheby's catalog, which has in it that lot, which is those two guns, which are supposed to sell for, or estimated, 250 to 300K. They then try and call their friend who has got the guns and try to stop him from tossing them off the bridge. The friend has already tossed them off the bridge, but they haven't hit the water. They've landed on a little ledge just past the railing.
And he's trying to reach them. At the same time, his phone is going off.
In his mouth.
He's holding the phone in his mouth. I don't know why. And that's where the movie ends. The phone's ringing. He's reaching for the guns. We don't know if he's going to answer the phone. We don't know if he's going to drop the phone or fall into the river. Because, this guy is probably one of the big screw-ups in the group. He just gets stuff wrong.
He seems to be, because he's mostly focused on the fact that they cost 700 quid, not, hey, we can go scot-free from multiple murder, theft, and all this other stuff if we just get rid of this one thing.
Yeah.
So, what do you think happens?
I have no friggin' idea. I want it to be that he answers the phone, they sell the guns, and this gives them a chance. I honestly think what happens is he tries to answer the phone, drops the phone in the river, falls off the bridge, grabs the guns, and takes them down into the river with him. That is what I think happens.
The only thing I didn't have in my answer was that he actually falls into the water, too.
Yeah, no,
I think he opens his mouth, the phone falls out, and that starts the whole thing. I don't think these guys are ever going to make it, quote, into the big time, end quote. No. And honestly, I think they're better off if they don't.
Yeah. They would just be big targets. I mean, I already think they're in trouble because Big Chris is now like, Harry underestimated you. I underestimated you. It's like, okay, now people are going to think they're big time crime lords or really dangerous, and that's everyone's going to come gunning for them.
Well, I initially thought that Big Chris was like, right, I work for you now, and I'm like, what do we do with him?
No, it's like, now we're in the money lending business. Like, all right, that's smart. I think you blew a lot of money on that a very impressive looking car, but.
That's a Cobra. Yes, he did.
That's a Cobra. Oh, wow.
Cobra! The only car made by G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah, they've been making Cobras since the 60s.
Is that the one they sing the song about Spring Little Cobra getting ready to strike?
Almost certainly,
okay.
If it's a car song. Yeah, it was made by, Carroll Shelby. Huh. Carroll Shelby had originally, I think, worked for Ford and helped develop the Mustang with Lee Iacocca.
It was a very pretty car. I mean,
Well, and it was a very fast car. It was like one of the first track cars that you could drive on the street, and you really shouldn't. And there's been Cobra editions of Mustangs throughout the years, too. But they've continued to make reissues of Cobras, and they're always very expensive, and they're also very, very fast and flashy looking. But
I got to point out, if you're going to talk about the car, I want to talk about the shotguns, because those things, I forget the brand, but they were real. That's an actual major league, and those things are works of art.
Wait, the 18th century ones?
Yeah, the metal filigree on them, the quality of the wood. The only thing I questioned is, could they fire modern ordnance?
Yeah, where could they find that, 04WW nug shells?
Now, maybe, I don't know enough about shotguns, maybe the width was still standard, but I don't think so, because in the 18th century, they didn't have cartridges. They didn't have shotgun shells. They had, they would literally pack it in.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. But
fire them.
They do. They do shoot them a couple of times. I mean, Harry kills Wingus with one.
Or is it Dingus?
I'm
can't
not
remember.
Sure. Yeah.
Does it matter?
Does it matter? Not really.
But what I do know, unless you have any other notes?
Nope. I think that's about
what
it.
I do know is that we get to the point in the film with all this stuff we talked about. Do we actually like it or not?
The finish.
So, Max.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Never seen it. Heard about it. Never saw it. Everyone said it's the same with because Guy Ritchie does another movie called Snatch, and people have said, he just remade Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I have no idea if that's true.
To be fair, I saw it when it came out, so I don't remember it very well. What did you think?
Okay, I can't say I enjoyed it, because it's a type of movie I don't like where there's no one I like in it. Right. And the tension ramps up too much for me. But I think it's really well made. I think it's really well done. And it's, we've complained about movies that don't take chances. I think this does. With everything, the camera work, the fact that it's loaded with British rhyming slang that's going to put off American audiences. The fact that it's cast with unknowns in 1998. Right. I think it's really well done. I think it is a good movie. I think it's a great effort, especially considering it's his first. I just didn't really have fun with it. I didn't enjoy it. But that, again, is me. But I would still recommend it. What about you? You'd never seen it either.
No. I'd seen Snatch and Layer Cake, and in general, high violence is not my thing. And I was worried that might be the case, and it's not. I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than you do, but I'm in the same boat you are. I think it's really well made. I really like the experimentation of the camera work. I love the fact that these, for the most part, were unknowns. Yeah, there's a couple of people I recognize, but big deal. I believe all of the tough guys in this film could kill people with their pinky.
Oh, yeah.
They all feel like very dangerous people.
Yeah, it happens sometimes in movies. You get the tough guy and you're going, oh, come on. Yeah, really. I'm not... Who's going to be afraid of this guy? These guys, who is not going to be afraid of them?
Yeah, these are all people that I want to avoid in my life.
Yes.
I love the weird way that the plot makes you start guessing, like, there's no way this is going to come together. I cannot see how all these plot lines. It's like a much shorter, much tighter, much actionier. Oh God, what is his name? Gosford Park. Robert Altman film.
Yeah.
Where you're like, how are you? Except he takes 3 hours to do it. This is an hour 45 and it's loud. I thought it was really, in a way, it was a lot of fun. Again, not my usual type of film, but visually, acting-wise, story-wise, I think it's batting really well. What's a good number? 300? 400.
400 will do.
For batting, which is something that British people
they do in cricket.
Well, you and I have watched cricket. Whew, that's exciting. Calm down. There's somebody up at bat. Yeah, so I would recommend it. If you like action films and somehow, like us, have missed this, I would totally look it up. For a first effort, it's fantastic. Yeah. And I forgot all the other films that were also his that I also enjoyed. So, yeah, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, that's up there for me. But what is also up there for me is our poll question. And we would like you to answer, what is your favorite heist film? Guess where I got that idea. And how do you answer us? Well, heck, first off, let's go to Bluesky. You can find us on Bluesky like our friend Bubble-and-Squeak has guys found us. You can answer our poll question.
Sorry.
Where we are at the @ sign, I guess.
I think it's the @ sign.
Max Mike Movies. Yeah, at Mike's Max Mike Movies. We're still on Facebook, where some of you are also, where we are Max Mike Movies. You could go to our Mastodon site, which I guess is also @ sign Max Mike Movies.
Yeah, something like that.
I haven't actually seen it yet, but whatever. Or we can go to our website, which is maxmikemovies.com, where you can leave comments. All our shows are there. If you're interested in a series or looking for a film, hey, there's a search function that works really well. I know, because every once in a while I need to find out if we've watched this movie or not. I mean, heck, there's been 328 for... Yeah. You could email us directly, which sometimes folks do, at us@maxmikemovies.com, where we will get your letter. Hey, if it's some critique of the show, we'd love to hear it. We do have a little listener mail section where we will put that on the show as well. And of course, if there is a podcast app out there, we're on it, Max Mike Movies. For those of you who don't like social media, call us like Doris does on our hotline. Sorry, I think I hurt myself. And that number is 617-398-7266. That number again, 617-398-7266. Leave a comment. We love to have your comments. We love to play you on the show. What we also love to do on the show is continue our series. And Max, how are we going to do that next week?
By watching another movie. Goodbye.
That was, yes, thank you.
Now, we have, you're welcome. Yes, thank you. You're too kind. Well, we have watched a number of movies that cover all sorts of music. We've had Motown, blues, 50s, 60s, rock. We've had the British Invasion. We've had the Beatles. But we have not watched any movie that really embodies the greatest American music movement. I am talking, of course, about disco.
Oh, no.
The music of the discotheque.
You're not.
Yes, we are going to watch Saturday Night Fever.
Oh, that's
It's your fault for not watching it. And admitting to that.
It is strangely one of Roger Ebert's favorite films.
I'm interested to see what you think of this movie about 50 years after it's the period it's talking about.
To be fair, all I know about is it has disco in it. I hate disco. I literally know nothing about the story. I know John Travolta's in it. So, sure.
But,
where? When? So I guess next week, boogie down with Max and Mike as we watch Saturday Night Fever.
Get down, get funky.
This has been a co-production of The Voice of Max and The Movie Wrench.